pay a premium to enjoy the void space that comes along with this penthouse unit. This entire project.
Something that's very interesting is that on this particular step, which is step number 1, that's the drop-off point, you have a gym plus. So we're gonna head in. Let's go.
Mission control, we have liftoff.
Happy New Year to everybody. Welcome to our PropertyLimBrothers PLB Insights channel. Today we are live with everybody, and I'm with Wayne and Nicole in our PLB studio. We're back with our new launch review series, and today we're going to talk about this particular project in District 9 at the Mount Sophia region. It's a freehold property. It's called Orchard Sophia, and throughout all our new launch review for the year 2023, I think we covered quite a couple of projects, and now we're back in 2024, and we hope to be able to talk about more projects that has not been covered in the previous year, as well as all the upcoming projects for this next 12 months. So thank you for joining us live. If you missed this live episode, of course, this will be uploaded to our YouTube channel at PLB Insights as well. So maybe let me introduce Nicole to kickstart with us on some project facts on Orchard Sophia. Nicole, to you.
Yeah, so Orchard Sophia is located along Orchard Sophia Road. Oh, sorry. Orchard Sophia is located along Sophia Road. So this is a very interesting new launch because this is an amalgamation of two old sites. So the developers, DB2, they initially were looking at Fairhaven about like in 7 years ago, and then but then they didn't want to buy that plot initially because it was too small. So 5 years later, when Fairhaven and another neighboring plot, which was Sophia Ville, they decided to en bloc together. Then he decided to buy over the plot and then create this new Orchard Sophia. So Orchard Sophia, quite interestingly, has a very regular plot. So you can see from the screen, it's very squarish, very regular. You can build up to about 78 units. So actually the plot ratio is about 2.1 if I'm not wrong. But because of its proximity to Istana, they are only able to build to about 5 stories or so. Yeah, so Orchard Sophia, very interesting project. In terms of like the kind of architect they've chosen, also they've got architect from the Ong and Ong. They've got the Ecoplan Asia landscape consultant, as well as like different interior designers. And this developer DB2, they've actually very experienced in doing a lot of freehold boutique projects. So they've done Sigla 5.
Sigla V, yeah.
V, yes. Promenade at Perched. They've also done your other areas.
Yeah, Nicole, can put the mic closer to you, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Promenade
yes.
Perched, Sigla V.
Yeah.
Which other projects have they done?
They've also done the more central region areas such as 10 Shelford and Devonshire residences. So this project is a freehold boutique project, 78 units. Yeah.
Right, awesome, great. Yeah, maybe let's talk a little bit about the some of the location details as well as the URM master plan. Wayne.
All right, so if you look at the location itself, so this is, as we have mentioned earlier on, it's located on the top of Sophia Hill. So it's actually alongside Sophia Road. So right now from this slide, you can see that if I were to zoom it out, or rather zooming in, you can see that this is actually occupying the land of Fairhaven and Sophia Ville. So these two projects has already en bloc, and this current site is actually the site of Orchard Sophia. So in a way, the general orientation of this particular project is in the direction of southwest and northeast. So those units that is actually looking down towards the southwest direction is generally facing towards the Istana area, of course. So henceforth, if you look at some of the design, as you can see from here, you can see that the developers, or rather the architect, would have already built in some form of like a privacy screen on the side of the unit to prevent people from looking right towards the right, which is towards the western part, where that's where the Istana is sitting on. But because of the location and the geographical location of this particular project, sitting on the top of Sophia Hill, units that are facing towards the city, or rather towards the Dhoby Ghaut area, generally will be overlooking the projects like Sophia Regency. And how we know that is basically from the Google map right here. Wait, let me share. So based on the Google map view, you can clearly see that right now this is actually where the project will be sitting here. So this where my mouse is actually moving. So this is where Orchard Sophia will be, and this is actually Sophia Regency. It will be looking downwards, basically looking downhill. So if you look at the whole direction wise, or rather I would say the orientation, it is actually in a very quiet area. But location wise, it's also very I would say that it is actually a short drive from the Seligi Road. So from Seligi Road, you just have to drive all the way up. You will reach that location. But in terms of the transport, in terms of the amenities, technically you are actually very, very close towards Dhoby Ghaut. So if I were to move back to Google View, you can clearly see right here, or rather, just going to switch to street directory.
Right.
So this is Orchard Sophia. If I were to zoom it all the way out, so this is basically where Dhoby Ghaut is. So if you are very familiar with this area, you know that House on Handy, this is one of the new launched, that is right now that's already constructing already. We are actually just right on the top right here. So technically speaking, the main road of Seligi Road is right over here. You can just take a stroll in. If not, you can actually, if you want to go towards the Dhoby Ghaut MRT station or Plaza Singapura, technically you can just walk down Mount Sophia. There's actually a little pathway or a staircase that basically cuts right beside House on Handy that brings you down to Handy Road, which will technically bring you straight to Dhoby Ghaut MRT station and Plaza Sing. And to give you a context of how it looks like, this is basically the street view, and I'm going to show you where it is. So this right here, Dhoby Ghaut, and this is actually right. So if you were to go into street view, you'll notice that this project right here, this is actually House on Handy, and you notice that there's actually a staircase, a sheltered staircase down the slope. So this is actually the one that's connecting from Sophia Road, right, all the way down to Mount Sophia down to Handy Road. So in terms of location-wise, I would say that the plus point for Orchard Sophia is definitely the close proximity to the city centre area. Your Dhoby Ghaut MRT station, your Plaza Singapura, you're full of amenities, and plus the fact that you are actually located in a very quiet enclave on the top of Sophia Hill.
Right. Thanks, Wayne. I think thanks for sharing about the location, because I think for those of you who are not familiar with CCR, Mount Sophia traditionally has been what we call the start point of D9, because just right across the street, that will move on to a cross intersection. I would say that it's like a triangle intersection, because you would then head towards like the Bugis district, right? Which is like D8 and off. If not, you will head into like the Bencoolen district as well. So this is like technically the starting point of District 9. And maybe, Wayne, help me to flash the slide on Peace Center and Peace Mansion, because in the past, let's talk a little bit about the history of this zoning here. So one of the slides are indicated, slide 36. So basically, Peace Center and Peace Mansion, after 5 rounds of en bloc attempt, it has been sold for 650 million to CEL, Ultra Infinity, as well as Singhai E. So this, of course, I would say that is like a transformation kind of news to the region. The rationale is because if you to go back to, let's say, the street directory, you have a look at that zoning right there. So traditionally, I think like a lot of people will always like talking about, hey, like the one slide up, slide number 5. Sorry, let's go to slide 15. Let's have a look at Park Lane and all that. Okay, so if you look at Park Lane, Peace Center, and Peace Mansion, that 2 project being en bloc technically is like a transformation news. The rationale is because if you look at what is happening in that whole spectrum of Prinsep Street and Seligi Road, SOTA is there. If you head on to one road upwards to GRID, that whole place has now been transformed. If you go there over the weekends, it's basically like dance school. You have music schools. People are there doing like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There's people learning taekwondos. A lot of children activities right there, as well as activities for university students and art students. So this is going to be like a whole new kind of like transformation to like a arts zoning for youth. And if we also look at the master plan for Orchard, Dhoby Ghaut will belong to a very trendy place for families as well as young teenagers. So with Peace Center and Peace Mansion being transformed, what's going to happen is that is really going to help with the whole transformation, because in the past, people are a little bit worried about the nightclubs in that area, right? At that 2 buildings. So once that is being transformed, I think this whole zoning will become like a very kind of like RT kind of residential zoning. So if we look at Sophia, I think what's interesting is that firstly, they're all low rise. Secondly, this is one of the batches that I think if you're hunting for a freehold with nice PSF and quantum play, there's still opportunity right here. Maybe let's jump the gun a little bit to talk about the pricing. Maybe Nicole, share with us a little bit about the pricing, because based on what I've seen, is about 40%. So this was launched when, Awin? In about
This was launched in July 2023.
July
So
2023.
as of today, they have sold about 33 units already.
Great.
Yeah, correct.
So if I were to look at some of the transacted units, quite a couple were the one betas. Starting from about 1.229 is already lodged since August 2023 at about 2007, 2008 PSF, all the way to two betas about 1.6, 1.7. Then we go on to like the three betas starting from about 2.1 to 2.3 million. So 41%, I think closing to 50%. Nicole, what do you think about the PSF as well as the quantum price for 1, 2, 3 betas?
So actually, if you look at Orchard Sophia's pricing, it's actually quite different from what you would expect from a luxury project in D9. So if you look at House on Handy and you look at Sophia Regency, which is also another new launch that hasn't had any sales yet, the prices that they've transacted is all about 2009 to 3,000. Whereas for Orchard Sophia, their asking prices, the ones that have been transacted as well as the ones that are remaining units, they're all about 2007 to 2008 PSF. So that puts your one bedder in about the 1.3 million quantum, and your three bedders in about the 2.3
about that.
2.3 million quantum. So actually, if you look at your other new launch projects in your D15, you look at the D21, D23, all these projects, they are 99 years old, 99-year leasehold, and yet they are already asking about a 24, 25 kind of PSF. And if we take a more apple-to-apple approach, your continuum, which is also freehold, it's already transacting an average PSF of about 2007. So actually, if you think about this is D9, which is our most prime kind of area, district, and they're already asking 2728 for the 1 room, 2 room, and 3 room unit types.
Right. And thanks, Nicole. I think one of the key thing to also note is that this is a boutique development. So there's 70 over units. So of course, in PLB, we have talked a lot about frameworks, about what we call the volume effect. And of course, volume effect is very present in large scale 99 years property. For this, I would say that I think the developer has already sort of like forecasted, or I wouldn't say forecasted, like sort of like designed the project in the sense that every project, when it's a new launch or whether it's a resale, there has to be some sort of USP. That means what are the key selling points, right? So I think for this particular boutique development, firstly, of course, it's a brand new project. It's freehold. You already have the address. And I think they wanted to, based on what I've seen so far, is that out of the 1, 2, 3 bedders, and of course you also have dual key units, which later we'll go through the floor plans. They really, I think, want to position this project in not just a PSF play, but also a quantum play. Because if you look at 3 bedders, 2.3 million, some of the OCR 3-bed projects are already at between $2 million to about $2.5 million. Then if you look at the 2 bedders right here, you can get something at about 1.7, which I think in terms of quantum is pretty attractive. And of course, 1 bedder, if you go in at 1.3, also pretty attractive for the CCR region as well. Wayne, what do you think about some of the remaining units? Maybe you can chat a little bit about the remaining units as well as the distribution.
I think right now let's look at the distribution first to have a better understanding of what's the unit types. Because from the distribution, you'll be able to understand the rationale of the developers when they design this particular project. You know, whether are they going for the family kind of own stay kind of project, or are they going for more of the investors kind? So by looking at the distributions, which is over here, right here, so you can clearly see that they are predominantly made up of a lot of 2 bedders. So in fact, if you look at 3 bedders, there's only a total of only 8 units, out of which 5 of them are dual key units. So most of the projects, most of the units are all 2 bedders, and you can see that this is the reason why, and most of the units are actually, I would say, facing into the inner facing, or they are looking outwards or looking downwards towards the Istana area. So out of the units, so I mean, of course, if you look at this whole entire distribution, let me see which is the one that has the latest one, right, this one. So you can see that I would say that stack number 1, which is the 1 bedder predominantly, I believe, is because of the quantum. It has all been snapped up except for 2 units in stack number 4 on the first floor and second floor. Otherwise, I would say that the remaining units will be the more of the 2 bedrooms premium units. they are is still in the market. Dual key units for 3-bedders have also left only the 2 units, which is all the lower floor units. So you can see that it also appeals to families who are looking to buy the 2 bedrooms and will also want the flexibility of having that extra room for the kind of like rental play to help them to offset the kind of like a rental or the mortgage, or they may want to rent out to 2 different tenants for a higher rental amount.
Right.
Yeah, but so you can also see that, yeah, I mean, from here, very clearly that the higher end, like the 2-bedroom Prestige, which we felt that is also one of the unit type that can actually be converted into a dual key concept, that is also been left with only 1 unit. So clearly units that have the potential of going for their own stay, rental kind of like play, kind of unit mix is been snapped up. Low quantum 1-bedders has been snapped up. So right now what is left in the market are generally the mainstream of the 2 bedrooms, like the 2 bedrooms deluxe, the premium units.
Right. Okay,
Yep.
great. The 2-bedroom Prestige, I think in terms of the name itself, maybe let's have a look at the floor plan. Nicole, can you bring us through to the dual key for 2 beds as well as the 3 bed? I think there's still like a balance of 1 unit for 2-bedroom Prestige as well as 2 units, right, for 3-bed dual key.
Yeah, so if you look at the floor plan for C9, C9 is the, I think there's only 1 unit left that is not sold, a lower floor unit. So you can see that like out of all the 2 bedrooms, this is very popular because of its possibility of creating a dual key concept. So you see that so some of the 2 bedrooms, actually the common baths are not connected to your common bedroom. So in this case, both bathrooms are connected to their respective bedrooms, and also there is a little alley foyer area where you can create a door to close off the kitchen for the master bedroom. So that will form your first rental area, and then the second one will be the bedroom,
like a studio
bedroom
unit.
2. Yes, correct.
Right.
So this as compared to some of your other 2-bedroom units, it's quite impossible to get. So some of them, because of the way the home shelter is placed or the way that the bathrooms are being used, some of them, even the master bathroom is a common bathroom. Yeah,
Right.
so it's very interesting.
Right. So basically what you are referring to is that portion right there, right?
Right here.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I think there's only 1 unit left. How about the 3-bed dual key?
This is the one.
Yes. So,
So
3 bed.
interestingly, both dual keys are facing each other.
Correct, yeah.
11 and 2.
Very, very. So I think they purposely did it this way.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so the 3-bedroom dual key, also I think you can see from here. So the 3-bedroom dual key, how it's structured is that you have your master bedroom and 1 bedroom as one section, and then another bedroom as the other section. So you can see here that again very easily you can create the door at the foyer area, over here, and then this will be able to give you privacy for your kitchen area, and you have the whole living and dining and a big balcony space for the ones that are taking the 2-bedroom unit.
Great, awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe let me head over to the screen for a little while. Okay, so maybe let's go back to that 2-bed Prestige one. So there's only 1 unit left, right? I think it's on the 2nd floor. I think this is a floor plan for level 1, but probably the key difference will be level 2 doesn't have this PS. So what Nicole was sharing was basically this zoning right here. Let me just, so it's this area right here. So basically this is the area that you can technically seal up in the sense that you can create this common area for you and your tenant. So of course, as the owner, you can choose whether you want to live in this bigger zoning. This is like a 1+ study right here. So you enjoy your own kitchen, living, and of course your own master. And of course, you can then rent out this room as like a room rental. But of course, this is a room with its own ensuite. So you can technically rent this out for a high rental price. And of course, in D9, if you talk about Sophia region, because of the fact that it's walkable to the MRT station, and you are like in the most central zoning of Singapore in terms of tenants pool, expatriates pool, or renting out to international students, this is actually a very sought after area in the D9 portion. So you just need to advertise as, like it's near to Dhoby Ghaut MRT station, as well as near to SMU, SOTA. In terms of tenants demand, is existingly there already. So let's have a look at the 3-bedder dual key. Now, something to note is that dual key nowadays, Nicole and Wayne, do you all think that actually is like hardly seen in the market? Because in the past there was a season that developers were
Right.
creating a lot of dual keys. Now it's that predominantly we don't really see every project having dual key. It's only in certain projects. What do you guys think? When was the last time you saw a dual key? Which
I
project
mean,
was
of course, in the most recent launch, we do see some dual keys, like maybe in the Lentor area will be Lentor Hills residences. You get a dual key unit, but it's very rare, as you have mentioned. Some of them, I believe, is at the Blossoms by the Park. There's also dual key as well.
Right.
So that's in one north area. So these projects are predominantly, I mean, in a way they are structured in a way whereby they only have like very, very limited stocks, and only appeals to people who really want that kind of like co-living kind of like concept, or probably renting out a room to offset your monthly mortgage.
Right. Nicole, how about you? Do you like dual key units?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, dual key units allow you to, offset your monthly mortgage by renting out a room, and at least it kind of helps pay down your monthly mortgage because you're basically your tenant's helping you pay for your
Right.
house lah. So, but then I think in recent years we've only been mostly seeing developments focus on one bedroom. So like even D15, there are also a lot of one bedroom units or like two bedroom units that they're trying to
keep the quantum
keep the
lower,
quantum
right?
low, yeah.
Yeah, I think
I think the key to dual key is also the pricing as well, because
Yeah.
the main challenge for dual key units is generally because it's usually bigger in size, and because it's a 3-bedroom dual key, you'll be competing when you're entering into the resale market. You'll be competing with the normal 3-bedroom units, and people will be thinking whether will they want to pay a premium for that dual key flexibility.
Yeah.
And generally, you will not be able to appeal to family who really requires all the 3 bedrooms, because it doesn't make sense for a family member to be staying in another studio unit.
Yeah.
So that's always the challenge that we are facing of dual key units that are competing with the standard kind of like units, 3 bedrooms, for example.
Yeah.
So if the pricing wise is very close, then generally, when you're entering into the resale market, your target audience will be very limited lah. in
Yeah.
a way.
I think you are spot on, Wayne. So basically, I think what is happening on the ground is that dual key are very favorable in the sense that firstly, there is definitely like if you compare supply of 3 beds dual key or maybe 2 beds dual key versus a normal 2-bedder or normal 3-bedder, definitely there are lesser supply in terms of dual key. But what Wayne is trying to say is that if let's say you're appealing to normal families that has no intent to rent out a portion of their home, they really want a full unit, they will just go for a 3-bed premium, 3-bed compact. This is really like a forward planning. So this kind of units could appeal to couples that maybe they have a higher budget, but they are thinking of forward planning, buying, staying in a 2-bedder, and then renting out this studio portion. Or maybe they are very comfortable staying in the studio portion because maybe they travel a lot, they come back late, and maybe it's a single investor, and then they want to rent out this portion right here to act as a passive income or like a mortgage supplement in terms of this investment. There's one thing about dual key is that, 2 factors to take note. Number one is, of course, when you have dual key, the foyer area is usually sort of like a wasted zoning. So some square footage have to be sacrificed for this, which could be the reason why some families, they will just go for a normal 3-bed premium unit. Second thing to note when you're buying a dual key unit is that when you go down to the show flat, I've not been to the show flat before for Orchard Sophia. I think you guys have also not been there, right? Okay, so clarifying with the developer, clarify with the salesperson that is at the show flat gallery. Basically, ask them in terms of dual key, right? Whether is there like a common sort of like an electrical kind of system at the foyer, or is that already provision for a split system? Because you want to take note that when you want to rent out this portion, there's 2 ways of doing it. One is that if it's a common system, then basically when the bill comes up, you have to firstly make sure that when you negotiate with your tenant, you already input that whether you cover the utilities or they have to foot the first $100, or maybe when the bill comes, you will split a portionly based on like a pro rata fashion based on the size that you own. Or if there's already a split kind of provision for the electrical system, right, then some of the projects allows you to have a split meter to monitor the electrical usage for this studio unit. So this is something for you to take note for those of you who are exploring dual key. Maybe let's move on to the fire cycle and then we'll come back.
Sure.
Yeah, so let me just talk a little bit about the fire cycle. We talked about this recently in one of our webinars. Basically, if you go on to the next slide, these are the upcoming launches for 2024. If we head down, technically 2024 has lesser launches than 2023. Now, 2023, we see a total of approximately 47 new launches. 2024, basically lesser new launches. Now, one of the key rationale is because there were a lot of activities prior to 2023 because this is what we call the fire cycle, and this was only sort of like a present over the last 2 rounds. Let me move on to chart number 41. So basically, chart number 41, if you look at this blue graphs, if you have attended our webinars, you will know what are these blue graphs, but if it's your first time joining us, basically the blue kind of graph right here denotes the number of units that developer needs to hand over to buyers. So these are the number of units that will be completed. So for example, in 2023, there were 19,000 units that were completed, meaning that there were 19,000 units in condominiums that TOP'd. So the buyers that have waited, and they have probably bought them in 2019, 2020, 2021, they have waited for about 3 to 4 years, collected their keys in 2023. So in 2024, there's going to be 12,000 units that will be completed. And because of this usual kind of like sequence, all the way starting from 2015, there's sort of like a trending for a 5-year cycle, in our opinion, based on what we have trended so far. Of course, whether will this persist or not, we're not so sure. It really depends on the movement from US interest rates, as well as whether is there any more quantitative easing coming into the market. Now, one of the rationale for this is because if you were to look at 2023 and 2024, the season of en bloc technically started over here when developers already cleared off most of the properties back then. So over at this season, it was a season of Sterling residences, Riverfront residences, Florence residences. Those units started to clear off very rapidly, 2021, 2022. And then it TOP in 2023. Usually, based on this sequence, developers start to top up their land bank in 2022 and 2023, which then resulted in a lot of launches that came out in 2023 and 2024. This cycle usually continues when developers start to clear out their balance units into the following 3 years. So let me have a look at, let's go to the fire cycle. Maybe we'll just move downwards a little bit. Yeah, this one, chart number 52. So basically, 2023 was the year that a lot of resale properties seems to look very affordable in terms of their PSF level. One of the rationale is because new launches hit a new kind of benchmark, which a lot of buyers took time to get used to. So of course, at the start of the year, you start to see like 70-80% sell out. And then of course, now we have a couple of projects that was launched 40%, 50%. Some is like 20-30%. But what's going to happen in 2024, based on our own opinion, is that moving to chart number 54. Okay, so 2024, the next slide, please. Yeah, thanks. 55. Yeah. 2024, what's going to happen is that we forecast that resale will start to move up a notch, closing in terms of PSF as well as quantum. At this point in time, at this point of recording in January, newly TOP projects, they are still asking at a price that is commanding a very high asking price. The rationale is because these owners, they bought in during 2019 to 2022. They have no need to sell low because they bought in at probably about $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 per square feet. Now they're asking averagely, if you look at example projects like Park Esther, they're asking for 2002, 2003 PSF. And if you look at the new launches, they're also at a new range of PSF level. So this will continue in terms of asking price. New launches, I believe in the last 2 quarters, it will start to clear out rapidly should interest rates come down. Of course, if you look at the news that happened over last week, even over the last month, is already sort of like forecasted that Fed has already pivoted. Very likely they will have to adjust the interest rates downwards because they already have adjusted the rates too high over the last 2 years. So if that were to happen, interest rates were to come down, then very likely we're going to see movement for new launches in the last 2 quarters of the year. So I think what's very important is that whatever launches that you're looking at, whether it's Orchard Sophia or any other projects, look at your own preference in terms of your own stay needs as well as investment needs. If let's say you're somebody that, want to buy something that is like nobody has lived in before, whether can you wait 3 years or you want to go for a newly TOP, I think importantly is that know yourself in terms of your preference, because if it's a own stay property, if you really don't want to buy something that people has lived in before, then you're down to these 2 options, but do compare the PSF. See whether the one that you're going for in that district, in that area, is the PSF too close to each other, because you need to hunt for the disparity to go for the next movement, right? So let me hand back to Wayne and Nicole. Maybe let's talk a little bit about the site plan and orientation.
So Here it is. Site plan.
Yeah, maybe let's go through like 1, 2, 3 bedder, right? And maybe share with our audience like the best stack that you guys personally will go for. If let's say you can only buy Orchard Sophia, right? Let's talk about maybe the 1 bedders. How many units are left? Just 2.
One bedder, I think basically
One
only
bedder
left
only-
2 units left, right?
Okay, so it seems like the 1 bedders were the hot
2
favorite.
units left.
Stack number 4, which is right here. So stack number 4, we're looking into 1919. The project 1919 that's just right beside the development. So stack 4 will be facing towards this direction, lah. Right. If you look at so let's look at the site plan first. So because this is a smaller project, so when it's a smaller project, they have to be very creative in a way that they put in all the amenities and stuff like that. So first and foremost, parking will be basement parking. As you can see from the site map, your entry and exit point is via this Sophia Road, and once you turn in, you turn left and enters into the basement parking. So that's one of a good plus point for this particular development, because sometimes we see a smaller scale project, they don't really want to go into a basement parking. They go for surface parking, which may not be very ideal for private condominium, right? So at least for basement parking, it's all weatherproofed. You get a swimming pool that's right in the middle. So basically, you have like two kind of like blocks that's being separated by this swimming pool that's in the middle. Your gen set, and of course, being Orchard Sophia, you do have some form of like an observation deck on the rooftop, something that looks like this, right? So this is actually facing down towards the southwest direction. So you'll be overlooking the whole entire Sophia Hill down towards the Dhoby Ghaut direction, right? In terms of units distribution, I would say that it's pretty much fairly nicely distributed in terms of 2 bedders. So maybe Nicole, you want to like bring us through
Yeah.
in terms of distribution?
So, but before I jump to that, so when was reading through the brochure, so they were mentioning that in the Mount Sophia area, if you look at all the other condos in that area, you realize that the rooftops are all it's just brick and mortar, like they just have air compressors, aircon compressors and all that. So for Orchard Sophia, the developer actually made a very conscious decision to dedicate the rooftop to a landscape and facilities deck.
Right.
So that's not really seen in some of the other condos that you can see from here already. You don't really see much of. Yeah.
This is the current overview of the developments in Sophia area.
Yeah.
So mostly bricks and cement on the top and
Correct.
roofings.
Yeah, because usually for boutique projects, because they have a smaller plot of land, they usually try to maximize the build up as much as possible. So it's I would say it's a little bit more rare to see a boutique project actually dedicate the rooftop space to something that is enjoyable or accessible for your residents lah. So actually quite nice based on the pictures.
Something that look like this. They also have like a fresco dining on the rooftop
Yeah.
as well. Some form of like a little nice gathering area as well.
Right.
Okay, so back to the unit distribution. So the 2 bedrooms, like Wayne mentioned, are the ones that are the most common in the Orchard Sophia. So actually, if you see the blue ones,
Yep.
the light blue ones are all the 2-bed, normal 2-bed units. So for 2-bed units, there are 3 types. There is your 2-bed, 1 bath, which is the which color is it?
2-bed, 1 bath should be the, let's see. 2-bed, 1 bath is the orange color.
9 and 13.
Yeah, correct. 581 square feet.
Yeah, so that's your
This one.
2-bed, 1 bath unit.
Right.
And then you've got your normal two-bedder, which is the light blue. So some of these are, like I mentioned, some of these, the master bathroom may be considered a common bathroom because it's accessible through the master bedroom and through the living room as well. Some of them, the master bathroom doesn't have a window, a ventilation window. Some of them, the common bathrooms have a window. So many different layouts. I think there are about 9.
There's quite a lot of layouts. So
8
from here, you can see that there's like
different
2-bedroom
layouts.
deluxe 1, 2. Yeah, 2 bedrooms deluxe. They have 2 types. But 2-bedroom premium, you have quite a fair bit. From C1 all the way to C7, C8, in fact.
C8, yes.
Yeah, so 8 different kind of layouts for 2-bedroom premium.
And they're all distributed quite evenly. So I mean, there's the ones that have your unblocked views of your Istana, and then there are the ones that are inner facing, facing like the courtyard pool and so on and so forth. Then you've got the last two-bedder, which is what we spoke about, the one that can be converted to a dual key unit. So that so that one has is the one that has almost sold out. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Nicole. Actually, looking at the two-bed premium, in case if you're wondering which two-bed premium will be something that you can look at if you're hunting for a two-bed, two-bath. So premium means two-bed, two-bath. Deluxe version is two-bed, one-bath, right?
Right.
Yep.
Okay, great. So actually, I think what's very interesting is that, okay, the two-bed, two-bath side. Okay, so first observation is that the size difference. Wait, can you help me to check like the stack number 12? Is it sold out already? 603 square feet. Okay, because let's say if you are thinking about two-bed deluxe.
Only one unit left.
Okay,
Which floor?
4th floor.
okay. So 581 square feet for two-bed, one bath versus 603 square feet. Technically, it's only like 10 over square feet difference. So you might as well get the two-bed premium 603 square feet. I think that could be the reason why it's sold out already. It's also a dumbbell unit, right? So I think this is like a hot favorite kind of layout. Second one that perhaps, I mean, based on my own preference, is that perhaps you can look at
Stack
the
6.
stack 6.
Is it stack 6?
Okay, so what I noticed is that the two-bed premiums, there were some layouts that the bomb shelter is inside the master room. Okay, so traditionally, let's say if we talk about, because we saw a lot of resale units on the ground, right? And let's say if I consolidate all the years of objections from potential buyers, and of course, every project has its pros and cons. There will be some units that are superstar units, or there are some units that the layout will not win certain types of layout within the same project. So just coming from an objective point of view, my own personal preference is that always get the ones that the home shelter is outside of the master room. The rationale is because of this. The moment you look at those units with the home shelter in the master room, they are using it as a double up for the walk-in wardrobe. You're going to sacrifice that space, which potentially, if it were to be outside, if you look at C7B layout, 689 square feet, the home shelter is basically like your additional storeroom, and you still have that wardrobe space within your master room, which is like a more spacious kind of layout. If you compare that to the other one, which the home shelter is inside your master room, technically you will realize that, you know, your master room seems to be a little bit more tighter. You are not going to have that home shelter as a storeroom concept. You're going to use it as a master room concept. There's even one more layout that I think the home shelter is blocking the master room door in one of the layout, which I've seen. It seems a little bit odd to me. I think, okay, forward. Not this one. Okay, there's one. Okay, it just seems to me that it's very tight. I saw one layout that the moment you open your home shelter door, technically you have to like, it's sort of.
This is
This
the one.
one, C8.
This is the one.
It's a little
Master
bit.
bedroom is here.
No.
This is the home shelter door.
Oh,
Okay,
C8.
not this one.
C8, I think.
There's one that the home shelter is inside the master room.
C8,
This one.
right?
Yeah,
There's
so the home shelter will, when it opens up, you basically
door,
touch your
yes.
door.
wait lah. There's one that it really stood out to me. Okay, so I think the gist is that when you look for certain kinds of layouts, the preference is that home shelter practically it should be outside, not within your master if you have a choice. Secondly is that take note of the opening of that home shelter door to make sure that it doesn't block or any walkway and stuff like that. Okay, of course, when you look at home shelter doors within condos, you're allowed to remove a home shelter door. Some owners and renovation companies, they will help you to install like a panel within the home shelter. It's like a carpentry panel to keep your door. And then when you want to sell the place, take note that you have to reinstate the installation of the home shelter door. So please do not throw away your home shelter door. You're allowed to remove while you're staying there, but please do not throw it away. If not, you're going to have a hard time buying back the same dimension when you want to sell it. Okay, so something to note about that. And then I think importantly, if you look at the layouts, I mean the dual key, sorry, not the dual key, the dumbbell layout stood out to me.
C4.
Because, yeah, C4, most of the time dumbbell layouts, it saves a lot more space. You don't really have like a foyer space because we're already looking at quite compact size units already. So compared to like maybe the 624 unit, you have like a walkway version. And technically, if it's not a dual key, you don't really need that walkway kind of version. So my own preference are basically dumbbell kind of layout using it. What about you, Nicole and Win?
actually the C4 unit, I can understand why it was so popular because aside from it being a dumbbell unit, the common bath is only accessible through the common bedroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's
you can easily rent it out.
It's really created for, to be a rental play as well. So a lot of the units that the developer has, created and a lot of the, marketing, I think there is a strong emphasis on investor demand from people who are expats in the area or students who are studying in the tertiary institutions in the nearby area.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also think that, okay, so take note that just now we also flashed the maintenance fee, right? So these are the estimated.
Yep.
Take note that maintenance fees are subjected to change. So before you confirm, please check with the developer on the share value. Also note that the moment once you take your keys, the first year, MCST is not formed yet. Usually after the first year, the MCST will be formed with the residents of that particular project. And then from there on, what's going to happen is that the new MCST, they have the rights to go for, voting and then discussion to raise MCST fee or to reduce MCST fee. So take note that all these MCST fee are currently estimated only. Okay, I saw that layout already. Basically, okay, so this is the one bedder lah. Okay, so it's the one bedder, A1. So when I was looking at the A1 square feet, this is the one that I was talking about. Like the home shelter door, once you open, right, you cannot go inside your master room. You have to close the door, then you can go in. So this is like an example that, I mean, but I believe this has been sold already.
Yeah, this is fully sold.
Okay,
I
great.
believe it's a quantum play lah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely a quantum play. Okay, great. Let's come back to the floor plans a little bit. Okay, so I think one probably common thing that people will talk about, right, is that naturally in a boutique development, if you look at the site plan, the hottest units, hottest as in most popular units, in my own opinion, is the units that's facing the front. Definitely the ones that are facing Sophia Road. So it will be stack 6, 7, 14, and 15. The rationale is because on the left and right hand side, you're going to face other buildings. At the back, you're also going to face other buildings. So maybe let's have a look. 15, 14, 7, 6, are they all fully sold already?
Nope.
Still available.
Interestingly,
Yeah.
14,
And yeah.
everyone is available.
Oh.
But I think it's also because
Okay, what's that?
14, when they, if you look at the whole entire facade, do remember that this whole frontage, right? This front, partially you'll be facing towards Istana, which is why there are some of these kind of fins that's being built at the site.
Ah, okay.
Right. So this is also one of the reasons why probably they might find that I may be paying a little bit of a premium for the unit, but at the same time I may not really necessarily get that view. Yeah. So my view will be very much like a kind of like a frontal view. I do not have anything that can view at the site due to the privacy of the Istana.
Okay, if we look at 14 floor plan, basically it's a 689 square feet, 2-bed premium. One of the reasons probably is because it's also a huge unit.
Yeah.
The front facing are actually the master room and the bedroom 2. The living room is actually facing inwards balcony towards the pool area.
Right.
Yeah, so perhaps I think it's because of the quantum that is still available. What else is available? Is 15, 7, and 6 available?
15, yes.
Yes, as well.
Okay,
Right.
7, because 7 is a 3-bedder. So 7,
right.
already 2 units. There are only 3-bedder units.
Right.
So 2 have been sold, only left 1.
So I think developer is also, I mean, whenever we look at site plans, we always want to hunt for the largest unit because the largest unit usually have the best view.
Right.
Yeah, so I think developers has sort of like designed it in the sense that the huge units will get like the front facing, small units will get the left and right and the back facing. So I think this is all normal and fine because it's either you get a quantum, you sacrifice a bit of view, or if you pay the highest quantum, then you get the best view per se. So maybe let's move and talk a little bit about some of the portions that we have not covered, Wayne.
Right. So if you look at, I think let's take a look at some of the things like, I would say the USPs of this particular. I mean, okay, not say the USPs, but more of like the rental. So as we know that the whole entire development is predominantly made of the 2 bedrooms unit, and generally that will also means that it is basically attracting towards buyers who are buying for investments. Whether you want to rent it out, due to the fact that maybe it's like the location itself is appeals to a lot of like tenants. So when we look at the whole entire rental yield project in that D9 area, you can clearly see that out of this whole entire list, there's about 2, 4, 6, 8 units within the Sophia area that has very good rental yield in the area. So this speaks volume of the performance of the projects in the Sophia area for investors who are buying to look at the rentability. And largely also because this project is a freehold development, you technically don't have to worry about the lease decay. So you can actually just hold it all the way, you know, and you just basically use it to rent it out and get a kind of like rental play. Plus the fact that in those the whole entire redevelopment of the area, the master plan development of sprucing out and turning that whole entire area into a very like an arty-farty kind of area, you will also appeals to a lot of students as well. So this is where we believe the Orchard Sophia, generally you'll be targeting towards those kind of like, you know, basically people who are buying and then to rent it out to students or for people who wants to stay in an area, but I just want the 2 bedrooms unit. Yeah, correct.
So I think this locale is really like one of the areas that freehold lovers love a lot because quantum play, you get D9, you get MRT, you get the demand from students and expats, and then as long as I think the quantum and PSF is right, it will definitely attract its own sort of audience. How about you, Nicole? Do you like this area? I mean, like, which is the best district in Singapore that you yourself personally will go for? What is your own favorite?
You're just gonna judge me for this.
No lah,
Yes.
no. Just share with our audience, like, okay, personally, let's say as an investment, right? Which is like the district, the top 3 district that you personally will. I mean, we all have a personal favorite, right? Like,
Yeah, I think if let's say I'm an investor, I would personally look for districts with high growth. So districts like the Lentor area, that will be my personal go-to.
okay,
Yeah, but
in
if
this
you're-
season,
In this season,
was it because like Lentor is like a brand new kind of like a new township kind of thing?
Yes, I think it's a new township. Also, I think the surrounding schools play a huge role. I mean, I personally seen firsthand the parents when their kids are entering primary 1 and they get a little bit stressed
Nervous, right?
and anxious about securing their kids a spot in the school that they want to, and then they would really they would spare no effort in getting a unit like within 1 km of their school. So I think for Lentor, I think there are a couple of developments that are within 1 km to CHIJ Saint Primary.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so I think the one that's coming up, right, Lentor Mansions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that personally I would go for that. Yeah.
Okay, great. How about you, Wayne? Which
Personally,
is your personal favorite for 2024? Like, let's say it's an investment unit.
I will go for the RCR area.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I like the RCR area. So I've always been a personal advocate of D13. And I always love that area because of the close proximity to the city area. But at the same time, you're not paying a premium. There's also a lot of, I'll say, HDB upgraders in the whole entire district that will support your private condominium purchase as well.
Right.
Sale.
Right.
So, D13 is always my area that I always like to go to. But of course, the RCR area, generally, if you're looking at even towards the One North area, that's also one of I would say my own favorite as well. Because predominantly, I feel that the tenants around, the people that's working in the area, they are professionals. So in terms of the kind of like rental play, generally, I believe you should be able to command a higher premium in terms of the rental from the tenants that's working in the One North area. So projects like your Blossoms by the Park that has already been sold. But of course, there's also in 2024, there's an upcoming land plot as well, which is the Parcel B that will be coming on board as well. So that will also be one of the exciting projects that we are looking forward to. But if you look at the CCR area, there's not much projects, I would say, that there's in the pipeline. So of course, the Orchard Sophia, this is one of the few that was launched last year. And if you look at the whole entire numbers-wise, so I do have these numbers right here. There's actually just a very indicative pricing comparing the D9. So if you look at the uncompleted project, on average, PSF trending in the area is already at $3,000 PSF for CCR D9 freehold. And for Orchard Sophia, that's right now going for about 2007. There's a clear disparity from the average D9 PSF to their own project PSF. And judging from that, based on the kind of like units mix, the kind of like units that's still available, you still get some of the very nice, good frontage kind of like units like the stack number 14 of Orchard Sophia. I would say that those may be some, that you may want to consider, like if you're looking for a very good central location, good rentability, and plus the fact that it's a freehold, that's something that I will also be considering as well for Orchard Sophia.
All right, great, thanks. I think personally this is like a very good rental play. and it's very suitable for investors that are maybe going for second or third units, and let's say you don't want to think so much about the lease, and let's say predominantly you have always been buying freehold properties, you want prime CCR location, then this will cater to investors of this sort. Of course, my personal kind of like look at research over the years is that in this last like 5 to 10 years, a lot of the projects that probably like having that huge density, right, of volume near to MRT, popular in terms of its branding as well as like schools and stuff like that. This is also another kind of strategy if you're going for like a faster kind of capital upside appreciation. Not saying that this boutique project will not proceed in terms of upside, but I think probably in terms of the date that it will TOP, I saw that it's going to TOP in about 2027. Partially perhaps it's because it's on block, they need a bit of time to tear down. I'm not sure whether have they started to tear down already, but I think this is really like for a mid to long term play for holding on to a freehold project for rental needs. So I think in about 5-8 years time, definitely if you want to exit, there will still be a sizable audience that loves the Mount Sophia area. All right, so yeah, I think we're about time.
Yep.
Do you guys have anything to add for our live audience?
I think one important point is also that it's very hard to find freehold project nowadays that's close to train station. I think that's something that's very rare, because if you look at all the GLS sites that's close to train stations, generally they're all 99 years.
Yeah.
In fact, you don't really get any more new freehold land.
Yeah, freehold you have to wait for en bloc.
That's right. So this is one of the rare one that comes by. One of the rare freehold developments that was launched in 2023 as well, because we do see majority of them are all 99 years projects. So I think that's something that you should also be considering if you're looking for a long-term game that you want to buy to leverage on.
All right, great. Nicole, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, like what you said, Melvin, I think there is still value in going for boutique projects. I think this area of Sophia Road is very different from your other area in Orchard, where it's all high-rise, a little bit more compact. Over here it's more low-rise, more chill, I would say. So if you're looking for something like that, and then you're thinking maybe I can rent out, or maybe I can stay and then I rent out the other room, I think this is something to consider.
Right. Okay, awesome. Welcome to the end of our live new launch banter review series. So thank you for staying tuned with PLB Insights. We, of course, have a lot more projects to talk about this year. Stay tuned for this channel. Do subscribe to our other two channels as well on PropertyLimBrothers to have a look at home tours of different sorts on a daily basis. We also have our NOTG channel where we banter and talk about market trends. So once again, today is 2nd Jan, the start of the year, and we're doing live right now. We hope to do more. And of course, wishing everybody a wonderful start to the year ahead. And we'll see you soon. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Alright, great. Yes, great start to the year.